Hi Diane, hi Lisa, hi Marianne. Nice to see you, Marianne. Hi Debbie. Hi Diane. Oh, hi, need Lisa. To turn my volume down. Hi Marianne. Nice to see you. Hopefully you can all hear me okay. Hi Anne. Welcome everybody. Hi Anne. Oh, that's confusing. Anne and Anne. I'm here. Yay, Marianne. I don't blame you enjoying the outdoors, Marianne. Why not? We don't get the nice weather very often, so we have to make the most of it. So I'm hoping you can all hear me and that you can see everything okay. Hi Janet. Hi Anne. Can you hear me okay, Anne? Is the sound okay? Hi Sue. I've started a couple of minutes early just so we can have a little chat while people start to join the live, just to give a few moments. So as usual, I'm about 7 minutes early, so we can have a general chit chat. Hi Janet. Welcome everybody. Thanks for joining me. The sound is great. Thanks Marianne. I have to remember to try and not shout because they can actually hear me downstairs, because I tend to shout thinking that people can't hear me. Sight and sound is great. Brilliant. Thanks Anne. Hi Corrie. Have you got your wine, Corrie, in the garden? Brilliant. Thanks Janet. Hi Tina. Hope everybody's well. 2 days on the trot. I can't believe I'm doing 2 Facebook Lives on the trot. Hi Corrie. So yes, so we've got 2 Facebook Lives. Yesterday's is still on my Facebook page, and the idea is that this is a bit of a follow-on from yesterday's. Hi Linda. Alinda. Hi Monica. Yes, thanks. You've got your wine, have you, Corrie? So yes, so the idea of this Facebook Live is sort of a carry-on from yesterday's Facebook Live, and the idea is to show how we can extend our stamps, how we can use them with the same colour schemes but extend the designs. Hi Hild. I'm hoping I pronounced that okay. Hi Debbie. Thanks for joining me, Debbie. Hope everybody's well. I'm just waiting a few moments, just to give a few moments for people to join, because I did start a couple of minutes early. So these are the stamps that I'm going to be using today. We're going to be using stamp set 200 and stamp set 205, and Abs has agreed that we can do a little giveaway, and for a randomly drawn winner you can win both these stamp sets. There you are again, Tracy. I know. I'm a sucker for punishment, Hild. Hi, Diane. Yes, I'm very well, thanks, Corrie. Not too bad at all. Keeping busy. Hi, Maria. Welcome. So, yes, there's 2 stamp sets that you can win this time. If you'd like to share, that's great, but that's entirely up to you. And you can win both these stamp sets. So we've got 2 stamp sets this time. So 2 treats this week. I promise I'll give you a break after tonight's Facebook Live. We won't do 3 on the trot. No, it's not so hot today. It's a bit cooler, so that's quite nice. Hi, Lisa. Loving your projects with the AALL&Create stamps, Lisa. Thanks for sharing. I'm just waiting a few moments for everybody to join, because I did say 6:30, and you know what I'm like. I like to prepare to make sure everything works okay. Hi, Becky. Thanks for joining me. So I'm just waiting for a few moments because a few people joined a little bit later and then they missed the start of the project. So I think I'm a few minutes early. What time is it now? Yes, it's 25, so I was a bit early. Oh, thanks, Eugenie. Thanks for sharing. You're very welcome, Lisa. The projects are fantastic. I love seeing everybody's designs with the artwork. And I have to give a shout out to the AALL&Create design team. If you're ever looking for any inspiration, the AALL&Create design team post their projects on AALL&Create Fanatics page, and so do some of our customers. There's some fantastic artwork on there. They put me to shame. Some wonderful artwork. So if you're ever at a loose end or you're looking for inspiration, if you go onto the AALL&Create Fanatics page, the design team post every week and they have some tremendous designs. I mean, Joe did some pyrography the other day with Olga's stamp set. Absolutely fantastic. Just some unique designs. And Anne does some totally different designs to Corrie. There's such a variety there So if you're ever stuck for any inspiration, then the design team are fantastic. They're always there to inspire you. Hi, David. I think it's David. I hope I'm pronouncing it properly. Welcome, David. Thanks for joining me. Hi, Georgia. Thanks, Georgia. I really appreciate that. Not a third one. Oh, no, Hild. Honestly, I'd drive you mad if I did. Can you imagine if I did these every night? Every night, it would drive you loopy. So no, I just treated you to 2 this week. I was brave and did 2. One on my Facebook and one on AALL&Create's Facebook. So the point of tonight's Facebook Live is to extend yesterday's Facebook Live. And the idea is to show you how to extend your stamp designs to use the same paints, the same colours, just to do a different project and maybe give a little bit more detail. So hi Tina, 3 is a lucky number. No, not in this case. Listening to my voice 3 nights on the trot is not lucky. It's not lucky. Hi Roz, welcome. Thanks for joining me. And thanks everybody for all the shares yesterday. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. We actually, I actually gained 3 newbies, 3 new ladies yesterday who were new to crafting, and they were really pleased to see some clean and simple designs. So that was nice to see some newcomers. Hi Gail, welcome. Looking forward to seeing Stafford in 2 weeks. Yes, I can't wait, Gail. I'm really looking forward to Stafford. I love our get-togethers and the space is wonderful, so I'm really looking forward to that. And seeing Leslie again, because Leslie has to travel quite a distance, so I'm really looking forward to that. 3 wouldn't be too much. So we'll get started. So those that have joined a little bit late, you can win these 2 stamp sets. I'll draw a randomly drawn winner. Probably this time next week, I'll draw the winner. And you can win both stamp sets on this occasion. So stamp set 205 and 200. Oh, thanks for sharing, Diane. Much appreciated. Hi, Paula. Welcome. Hi, Lizzie from South Africa. Wow. Thanks for joining me, Lizzie. It's lovely to have you here. Thank you for joining me. So these are the cards that were created yesterday. And we're going to extend that by creating a little journal today. So, I know Carmen was going to join along, so I don't know whether Carmen's joined us, but hopefully she will join along. She's actually going to craft along at the same time. So we're going to extend those, what we made yesterday. So this is what we're going to create today. Thanks, Georgia, much appreciated. Hi, Lynn. So we're going to extend that and create a journal this time. Hi, Carmen, welcome. Have you got your desk tidied, Carmen, ready? Hi, Beverly, welcome. Hi, Carmen. Is your desk tidy? Ready for joining in? I'll even take it a bit slower for you. Hi, Tina. So the idea is that we're making this journal and we're going to make the covers. Watching from the USA. Hi, Lynn. Are you on holiday? Oh, I hope you're having a wonderful time. I bet the weather there is fantastic. So this is what we're going to create today, and we're actually creating the front and back covers. Obviously on this one, I've coloured the insides, but we won't do that on the live because we're obviously using the same techniques for the front. Hi Beverly, hope you're well. So we're going to create the front and back covers. Totally ready for it, brilliant, that's wonderful. Okay Carmen, we'll get going. So we'll start with our first layers. I'll keep bringing this in so you can see what we're trying to achieve. So I've got my journal covers. Now you could cut, these are the Eileen Hull journal covers, but you could, if you're just joining in with me, Carmen, you could cut 2 pieces of mount board and hole punch yours, no problem at all. And you could even use a ring binder and do it that way, or you could even create this from card. You could use 2 pieces of card and you could create it that way. Hi Sue, welcome. Hi Martine. Hi BR Bell from Germany. Hope I'm pronouncing it okay. Sorry if I'm not. Welcome everybody and thanks for joining me. Really appreciate you being here. So today we're going to create this journal. I wanted to do something a bit different. Hope you're well, Sue. Wanted to create something a little bit different this time because I'm a big advocate. Can't get my words out for cards, but I adore my mixed media PCs and canvases. So you're not late, Sue, not a problem. Hi, Martine and Mandy. AALL&Create are all for equality. That's one of the things I love about them. Oh, definitely. We love to share and sort of encourage beginners and everybody. So, but yes, if you're new to the Facebook Live, if you're looking for inspiration, if you go to the AALL&Create Fanatics page, the design team are amazing. They share some fantastic designs. So if you're ever looking for inspiration, just pop by there and you won't be disappointed. So right, so we're going to get started. So you don't have to have this journal. You can have pieces of card, you can have mount board. We can create journals in lots of ways, but I also love Eileen Hull designs, so this is what I'm using this time. So we're going to use the colours we used yesterday to show how we can create something completely different. So I'm using Blushing, I'm using Elephant, and I'm using Umber on the Dina Wakley Media Heavy Body Acrylics. Hi Isabel, hope you're well Isabel. Thanks for joining me. Hi Maxine. So those are the three colours that we're going to use this time, with some highlights of white. So you could use any white. Hi Angela, thanks for joining me everybody. Thanks for all the shares and all the love, thank you very much. So we'll start with our first layer of paint. Now, for this, Carmen, because you're joining along with me, the first layer is just a base layer, and we're just trying to get that down nice and quickly. You're not late, Ginny, no problem at all. Sorry, late on duty. So we're just applying a first layer of colour. So we just apply, get a good dollop of paint, and we're going to apply our paint with a piece of a cut and dry foam. Now the cut and dry is nice and dense, so it holds the paint really nicely, and you don't have to keep reapplying it. It's got a good layer of paint on there. Now you will see that these are opaque paints. You get a good coverage, but this is our first layer, and as you know, I like to add more than just that first layer, so we're obviously going to add more to it than that, but this is just our base coat. So just remember, base coat, that's all we're looking at the moment. So we've got a nice base coat on there. We're going to do front and back covers, so we'll do both, but we won't do the inside because you don't need to see me doing the inside as well as the outside. So it's giving you the idea, you know exactly to decorate the inside at the same time. So when you're doing this at home, decorate both the inside covers and the outside. So the cut and dry foam is just allowing us to apply that base colour nice and quickly, that's all. Oh, hello Abs. Thanks for joining me. So on this one, we're using stamp set 200 and 205. And the lovely Abs has agreed that we can have another giveaway. And the giveaway, if you'd like to share, that'd be wonderful, is you can win both stamp sets. Both stamp sets. So stamp set 200 and 205, you can actually win both of those. A randomly drawn winner will be drawn this time next week. So now we've got a nice layer. It's clear for you, brilliant, thanks Becky. Oh, you're replying to somebody, sorry. No blur here. Oh, it's a bit blurred for you, I'm fine here. It looks clear to me, my picture looks fine. Maybe it will pick up, Beatrix, because my picture looks fine. So that is just a base colour. Now what you can't forget is, don't forget the edges, because this is what makes your projects look professional. So just make sure that you apply paint to those edges. And Carmen's joining us, so it's like a little workshop for Carmen, who's playing along at the same time, which is absolutely wonderful. I love it when people play along. So we're just going to, it's fine there as well as it's so great. Okay, I'll keep an eye on the comments just in case it is blurred, but mine's definitely okay here. So I'm just applying the paint to the edges, because at the end of the day we're using mount board, but you don't want everybody to know that you're using mount board when you give them this project. You want them. Hello Triash from South Africa. Wow, that's two ladies from South Africa. Welcome, thank you for joining me. Hi Sarah, hi Kate, hi Mary. So I've just now decorated those edges, and this is what I say about when you're adding one layer of paint. If you have a look at that, even though it's an opaque paint, it's, thanks Angela, it's very flat, as I call it. So I never leave my designs at just that. I always add another layer. So what we're going to do now, because I've got the base layer on there and it's nice and quick. Are you keeping up, Carmen? So now that base layer is applied nice and quickly from all over the world. I know, I can't believe it, Jenny. People from South Africa, America, it's just amazing. That's what I love about Facebook Lives. I think it's fantastic because you reach so many more people, like-minded people who get you. They understand why you love craft so much. So now I'm going to brayer the paint over, and I will lift this up to the camera. I'll actually lift it up before I cover the whole lot. And I hope you can see it on camera. If you see this side compared to that side, yes, and Isabel from Belgium. Ciao, Franca, ciao. Hello there, hi, Lina. If you look at this side, there's a lot more density and more strength and more oomph in that colour on this side than there is on that side. And that's what's important for me in the designs, is to make sure that you get that density of colour. It makes people want to touch your designs. It makes you want to look into the design rather than leaving it at this one colour. So we'll carry on like that. Hi, Jane. Thanks for joining me. Is it Lina? Lina, thanks for joining me, Lina. So I'm just going to add. I always feel like I don't want to rush the Facebook Lives, but I don't want to keep you too long so that you don't get bored. So it's trying to find a happy compromise. So I'm just applying the colour. Now, we've got a nice hair there. There's always a hair on Tracy Facebook Live. So I bet you've got no hairs, have you, Carmen, on yours? I have. So as you can see now, if you look at the two together, you can see that I've got more intense colour and more depth of colour. Doing well. I'm in an international workshop. How cool. I love it, Carmen. I love that you join in. So this one has got more depth than that one. And that's why we've then braided over. But we added the other colour quickly because that just, hair is texture. Very true, Sue, yes. I just seem to get hair. This mop of red hair of mine just gets everywhere. I'm worse than a dog molting. So the idea is that we add that second layer of colour, but it's nice to still leave some of these lighter touches, if you can see that, because that's what gives you your interest, that's what gives you your layers, that's what gives you your texture. Don't cover the whole lot. You're achieving depth, but you're not covering all the layers. So we then do our second one. Hi, Sarah. Sorry. Hi, Sarah. Hi, Amanda. Welcome. So we're going to add our next depth of colour to our revert, the other side of the cover. And I'm a great believer in, I don't just roll my brayer over once, I roll it over several times, well, more than several times, because that paint, even if the layer's fine, it adds wonderful texture to your design. Hi, Caroline, welcome. A hair stamp coming out, perhaps. I might be pushing it a bit far if I give Abs a hair stamp. I don't think that'll be accepted. Hi, Rinny from the Netherlands, welcome. So now I'm quite happy with that first layer of colour. And I'm happy that I've got some touches of white here. I'm happy with that. Just make sure, if you're using a die cut piece like me, that those just, as you see here, you've got the die cut pieces here. Can you see that the colour, I will address that later so that we don't see those white patches, but I won't worry about that now. We'll deal with that later. Hi, Lisa, welcome. So we'll deal with that later. It doesn't matter about those white patches at the moment. I'll touch that up with a paintbrush. That's all what the professional touches bring. So now we've got a nice depth of there. So what I'm going to do now is, I'm trying to go a little bit slower because Carmen's actually joining in with the workshop, which I absolutely love. So I'm now going to use my elephant paint, and again we're going to add some light layers. So as you can see, I've just got a small amount of paint, and I brayer that paint out before I even go to my project. I brayer it out so that I've got a nice layer. I have a black supervisor, so black hairs all over my projects. Mine are red hairs. Black might go better with my project, Hild, rather than my red hair. So then I'm just rolling the brayer very gently over my project, and I'm going over and over and over my project, and I will lift this up so that you can see exactly what I'm doing. Hopefully you can see that that's given me a nice light layer of the grey, and again this is adding a third layer to your design, and again drawing that eye in and bringing a lot more depth to your design. I like to take time to do my backgrounds. Yes, it's about the stamping, but for me, if I don't get the backgrounds right, then it's just not finished properly. Hi Larry. So I'm going to do that on the second cover. So again, a small amount of paint, brayer that out, and then lightly touch your project. You're hardly touching your project. It's a very light touch. Another hair. Oh, you just can't get the professionals at all, can you? You don't see the professionals with hairs over their project, do you? Thanks, Beatrix. So again, just a light layer, and go over the edges. Even though you're going to close those edges up by gluing them together, it just makes sure it's finished properly. So let's have a look at those. So there's our 2 layers at the moment, and I'm quite happy from, you know, I agree, AALL&Create. It's lovely to see everybody all over the world. And that is the aim of AALL&Create, to encourage everybody all over the world. We're a worldwide design team, and therefore we'd love to encourage everybody, like-minded people from all over the world, to get involved. So that gives us our depth, and it's adding 3 global domination. You're not late, Karen, don't worry about it. You just need to hear. So that gives us the depth of colour. Oui, je suis de France. So Sarah, yes, I am. Well, I'm not very good at French, but bonjour. Guess it happens to everyone, and agree with Bev. You are professional, bless. So now we've got that. So now I'm still not happy. I still want to encourage the recipient of this journal to want to reach out and touch it. So I need to add more layers. So we're not using any different products than we used yesterday. The idea is that I'm encouraging you to use your stamps in as many designs as possible. So now we're going to get our gel press that I didn't clean from yesterday, so this should be interesting. Look how clean that is. Not. I didn't clean it from yesterday. It all adds to the texture. I never clean my gel press. So I'm going to add my favourite stencil of all time, but I won't keep telling Abs that because his head might get too big, seeing as how he designed it. I love the stencil, but I keep trying not to tell Abs. Hi from the Netherlands, Winda and Trish, welcome, thank you for joining me. So now I'm going to add the elephant paint directly to my stencil, and I want to get a reasonable layer of paint, so I'll just add a bit more. So a reasonable layer of paint, and if you're still watching, Carmen, and you're following along, you can tell you've got a reasonable amount of paint because you get some paint that congeals around the edges. Well, we like that. We like that. Who? Abs get big-headed. Absolutely, Lynn. Yes. The diva of AALL&Create. So now we've done that, and we're going to take our cover and place that down. And you're going to press quite firmly because I want to get some of that rich texture of that paint. I love this stencil, Lisa. I keep trying not to say it too much because it's Abs's design and I know what he's like. So we now lift that up, and you see that for me adds another dimension to your background. And what I like here is excuse me, sorry about that. I like these edges here where the paint is thicker around the stencil than it is on the other areas. Little bits like that make me happy. That's what I love, and here as well. That's what I love about being creative, about crafting. It's the little surprises that you get. So these little blobs of texture from the paint make me happy. So I'm going to add it again because I want some more of those circles. So we'll continue adding those circles for more texture. Your favourite stencil, Becky? Yes, and mine. Yes, the funky llama, yes. So we're going to add this now once more. So I'm then going to add this to the bottom. I'm now getting to the stage where I'm not leaving enough room on my desk just for a change. So I tend to either add one lot of stenciling. There is no other stencil. I do love all the other stencils. It's just that I love this stencil. So if I'm adding some stencil touches, I either add one lot of stenciling or I add 3 lots of stenciling. And as you can see, that's our second lot. And I don't know whether the camera will pick that up, but I love these faded out areas. Can you see that on the camera? Am I holding it right? Just these faded out areas here. Those look really nice. Tracy's got a good taste of stencils. Oh, I told you I shouldn't have said that. So now I'm going to add a third one because I want 3. And I think that when you're creating, it's not about rushing. Yes, yesterday I made some clean and simple designs, but I still don't take 5 minutes to do them. The cover is a die. Yes, it's a Eileen Hull die. But if you haven't got the die, you can create your covers from mount board. So we're now going to extend it over the edges just so it looks more random. So if you're doing this, Carmen, just make sure you press nice and firmly on your gel press. And there you can see we've now got a lovely background for our focal images as far as I can see. I'm really pleased with that. And I always extend it over the binding edge because even though we're going over the binding there, it looks more fluid if it extends over. Like I will add some over here. Just it looks more fluid. It looks like you thought about it and it's not too random. Not AALL&Create, not bad. Yeah, just tell him not bad, Sue. So now we're going to do exactly the same on our other cover. Just remember we've got 2 sides here, so we've got to decorate both. We should keep him off Facebook Lives. He's dangerous. So there we go. We're now going to add some more to the other side. Are you playing along, Abs? No, Carmen, of course he isn't. Maybe a tag. Are you still waiting for your tag, Carmen? No. So as you can see, we're now getting the 2. So I do want to add 2 more here and here to the back cover as well. Hi Angie, welcome. So now we're going to add again. So obviously you get the idea, but I'm not going to rush it too much because I do want to see this project through. I want to see it through from start to finish. So now I want to aim for this area. I'm getting paint all over the place. So we'll add some paint over there. And I am thinking about it as I move along. So as you can see, when I bind this together, if I just grab hold of that, it looks like it's coming from the binding as well. It's not just blobbed. It looks like it's thought about. So even though that bit's covered up, it doesn't matter. It still sort of makes it more fluid. So we're going to add a touch of the stenciling here as well. Hi Krista, welcome. So one last lot of stenciling. And this is why I love the gel press. Not only are you adding those painty layers, but you're adding texture with the thickness of the paint. So I really like that. My paint's still wet, so let's add that there. Some layers there. We'll give this a dry. Obviously, when you're at home, you will decorate the inside as well, but obviously we don't need to do that. And when you're at home, you will pick this up onto another sheet. Let's see if we've got any spare paper. So you won't waste this. You'd pick this up onto another piece of paper. So you'd have some scrap paper and you'd just pick that up And then when I'm off camera, so that just gives me some more circles. So when I'm off camera, I'll add some white paint to that and take another print as well. So we'll just move that out of the way. And then we'll bring our covers back in and we'll give those a dry. Just because we've now got quite a few paint layers. And this is why we've used mount board, because I'm adding lots of layers. And I'll hold these up once I've finished, just so you can see the detail and the stencil. So give that a nice dry. See, because I've added the gel press prints, the paint is quite thick, so it's quite textural. So that does need a little bit more drying than usual. Hi James, welcome. Hi Ayota, hope you're well. So we're drying those paint layers thoroughly, because we've used the gel press. So we just need to make sure that's fully dry. Still sticky, because I really did apply a nice thick layer. A quick hello, we'll pop by on rewind. No problem James, see you at the weekend. There's that lovely stencil again. Not that I like this stencil very much. So now, if we lift those up, you can see all the little details from the stencil. You can see the texture from the paint, which is a lovely tactile feel. And because I've brayered over the journal several times with paint, the whole journal is really textural from paint, which is what I love. I really love that. So now if we bring the original back in, we now need to add the spotlight element here, just to give our stamping a focal place to sit. So this time I'm going to use the round jelly plate, the gel press. I don't know what size it is, it's just the round one. There's that much rubbish here I can't even find. Never mind, don't think I've got the, no I haven't. But it's the round gel press anyway, you understand. And I've added it to an acrylic block. So just for those people who've just joined me, you can win, a randomly drawn winner will win both stamp sets that I'm using today, stamp set 205 and stamp set 200. If you'd like to share, that'd be wonderful. So you can actually win 2 stamp sets this time. Thank you, Abs. So what we're going to do now is add the focal, something for my focal point to sit in. Thanks, Joe. So now what I'm going to do is I only want it around the edges. I don't want the whole gel press covered in paint. So I'm going to add my paint now to here, to my non-stick craft sheet. And I'm just going to roll that paint, and I'm going to add layers. Don't move it out of camera, Tracy. I'm going to add those layers to my gel press. And I'm going to add light layers to my gel press. Like so. And then I'm going to add a touch. I have everything crossed. So I'm now going to use a touch of the umber. I'm just going to put that on the side. And a touch of the umber, just so that it gives a bit of oomph to my spotlight. Gives some definition to the spotlight. So I'm adding that round the outside of my gel press. You're still keeping up, Carmen? If you don't have the circular gel press, Carmen, you can just use a circular die cut piece or draw around a circle, cut the circle out and sponge the colour through. You can do it that way, just to give it a different way of doing it. And then what we're going to do is take our gel press and press that firmly onto our front cover. Like so. And just allow that to sit for a few moments. Now it will be sticky, so it'll stick to your covers. I think I need a round gel press. I love the round gel press for spotlights and adding spotlights, and then you can just stamp in, because on this stamp, with this one, if you do the spotlight and then you stamp these in black and you do this spotlight in lots of colours, that looks fantastic. I love that one. So your paint will be sticky, but that's not a problem. Just lift that up and there's our spotlight. Let's just clean up a little bit of the mess, just so that I can actually stamp without getting paint everywhere. I think I've used every surface for paint possible. So we'll just clean up a second. On the hunt for a circle. Have you got a lid? A plate? A saucer? You could use a saucer, Carmen. I'm trying to think how you can do it without a gel press. So you could use a saucer, draw around the saucer, and then cut the inside of the circle out and then sponge through. So now we need to dry that layer. This gives us our oomph, our spotlight. So we just need to dry that. And again, I'm shaking my heat tool because obviously I think that makes it dry a lot quicker, and it doesn't. It's just a habit of mine and I can't help it. Let me just see if I can actually see my mask. I've got the mask here somewhere. Yes, we have. So now, we've now got our spotlight. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a touch more background stamping now. So I'm going to use, or try and find, let's move that out of the way. So we're going to use stamp set 205 and we're going to use this postal mark. I have done a design today using a stamp that's actually on my Facebook page. So I've actually got a project on Facebook if you want any more inspiration using this. It looks fantastic when it's layered up and watercoloured. Looks really wonderful. And then what I'm going to do is use this postal and some of this background here. You don't always have to use the whole stamp. You can use parts of the stamp, and that's why I love adding lots of details to my stamp designs, because it means that if you're a background person and you doodle, you can use the background in the stamp. But if you like focal images, you get 2 for 1. So I quite like that. Then I need, oh dear, there it is. We're using watering can archival because I don't want the stamping to be too black. Thanks, Angie. So what I'm doing is I'm masking off the sentiment. There's a sentiment down here on stamp set 205. One of my favourite sentiments. It says, what is it? Another year equals 365 more opportunities. I just love that sentiment. I know I'm biased, but I do love it. That's why I used it. So now I'm going to ink my postage stamp. So this will be added in our background because I love that postage stamp element. And just to show that you don't have to use the whole stamp set, you can use parts of it. So just have a look at the original one. So we're going to stamp this here. Hopefully I'm still in camera because I do move around a lot. And I'm just using my fingers. I'm not using an acrylic block. So I just love that. Look at the detail in that. And I absolutely love the fact that part of the postal stamp is missing. So it gives an aged feel instantly. It's no problem being late, Olga. Hope you're all right. So it gives that aged element to it before you've even done anything. I lost track of time. I think everybody else has lost track of time being on here. So I love this aged element here. Hi, Rizwana. Watching on my phone on my way home from parents' evening. I'm presuming that you're not driving, Rizwana. I'm presuming that somebody else is driving. So now I want to add more stamping. So I'm going to use the same background, and this netting in the background is fantastic. I just love adding this, even just the netting on its own, to the background. So I'm now going to add that, and I don't think about it too much. I just add it randomly, and every time you stamp, you're never going to, each piece is not going to look exactly the same. No, hubby's driving. Oh, that's good news. Oh, I'm glad you're here, Abs. Lena's speaking French, and I have no idea what it says. So one more stamping, and we can't forget our back cover. So if you're ever stuck and you only want to use part of the stamp, you can just use low-tack tape to mask off the areas that you don't want. This is called Tracy being lazy and using scrap paper. But if you had low-tack tape, you could mask off all the areas you wanted to on your stamp. And then you can use just certain areas. And then I'm going to add a little bit here to this bit. So that's our front cover. And then we need to add our back cover. And I want to add 3 stampings to the back cover because we can't forget the back cover. Hope you found something to draw around, Carmen. I can imagine Carmen running around the kitchen trying to find a plate to draw around. So we're now going to add some stamping to the back cover because we've got to think of the continuity of the back cover. So add some random stamping. And that netting is just lovely for me. I love that netting. So we're now adding a touch more. And sometimes when you add repeat stamping, that gives continuity to your design. Oh, it's no problem, Sharon. You can watch it on rewind. You can listen to my dulcet tones on rewind. What a pleasure that'll be. So now we're going to add that here. Oh, I could stamp this, just this postage stamp, all night. I could create a card on its own with the postage stamp and nothing else. And I could still do a design with that. And that's only using a quarter of the stamp, not even the whole part of the stamp. So we're now going to add this to the bottom edge. And I'll just show you the front and back cover again so you can see. I've now just chucked that on the floor. Just move that out of the way. So now that's what we've got so far on our front and back cover. Becky, you can spend Keith's pension. Don't, you'll get me in trouble, David. I'm encouraging her to spend Keith's pension. So now that's your front and back cover. And for me, I'm happy with that because I look at it and I think, well, I've got continuity. I've got layers. I've got the fact that it's, even though it's got lots of layers, it's not too overly cluttered. So obviously it depends what you like in a design. You don't have to copy this exactly. This is just to give you some tidbits so that you might want to go away and try even one little bit of it. Oh, you see, that's great, Sue, because that's the whole advantage of Facebook Lives. It's showing people exactly what the stamps can do. And I just love this. And when I've used it today, layered up, it looks fantastic, watercoloured and layered. I absolutely love it. So now what we need is we need our focal images. So we need some white card and we need to brayer for our background, for our stamps, for our flowers. So we're going to go back to our blushing and add some blushing. Hopefully I'm going slow enough for Carmen. Hi, is that Sharrett or Sharrett? Isn't it terrible when, oh, look at that. There's that much paint colour on my thing. I think we need a new colour. Let me just wipe that up. And that's when you know somebody's doing a Facebook Live. And this is what happens to you when you're at home. If you've used a dark colour, remember to clean your brayer and then go to the light colour. So that's not a problem. Just pick up some more card and go back to the colour again. Just make sure that we've got none of that dark brown on there. That's fine. Let's go back to the blushing again. And then, I struggle with layers that look good, so I love seeing how you layer. Oh, that's great. Thanks, Kathy. That's the whole point of doing this. Just to encourage people to even have a go. And to be honest, sometimes it inspires me because I'll do a Facebook Live and then I'll come away and think, oh, I could do this or I could do that. Because I'm already thinking that a monochromatic design might look quite nice, just doing it all in greys and just watercolouring with the flower in greys. So that might look quite nice as well. So sometimes it inspires me doing a Facebook Live. It gets me going again. Hi, Leslie. Welcome. Looking forward to seeing you next week, Leslie. So I've now got 2 layers for my flower. I'm just going to give that a dry because I'm stamping onto a wet layer. So I'm just going to make sure that's completely dry. For those that are just joining, we've got a lovely giveaway for a randomly drawn winner. You can win both these sets, both Stamp Set 200 and Stamp Set 205. If you'd like to share, that'd be fantastic. And you can win both these. Abs has allowed me to give both. Yay! I love your lives, Tracy. You always inspire me to do something new. Oh, oh, thank you, Olga. That means a lot, that does. Because for somebody, I'm a person that's better off in the background. I like being in the background. I don't like being on show, to be honest, believe it or not. So when I hear things like that, Olga, it means a lot because I prefer creating in the background. And sometimes when you're on show, doing things live, it can be quite nerve-wracking. So it's nice that I do offer something that it does inspire. Even if you just try one little thing, that's brilliant. So now we're going to use this flower here. But as I said, if these aren't your colours, you could use multicolours for the spotlight. You could use like 10 different colours in the circle, and then you could stamp these flowers. One says create, one says dream, and one says imagine. You could stamp those in the spotlight just in black with a colourful background, and they'd look fantastic. They'd look, in fact, I'll probably do a card like that, but they'd look wonderful. So now I'm going to use my stamp on the paint layers, and we're going to use the grey archival, mainly because I'm keeping it tone on tone, and I don't, even though that grey might look black on camera, it isn't actually as black, it's grey. So we're going to stamp this, our 2 stamp flowers. We only want the flower heads, so we'll just stamp them on there. Just add those. We'll just put those to one side, and then we'll come back to our cover. So now we're going to stamp our flowers on our cover. And I've used the AALL&Create acrylic block. And if you're ever stuck for any inspiration, no problem. Catch up with you tomorrow, Ginny. If you're ever stuck for inspiration, our talented design team share lots of makes on the AALL&Create Fanatics page. The design team are amazing. They do some wonderful designs, and they think completely different to the way I think. And that's wonderful. So if you want to see any of those, they're on the AALL&Create Fanatics page. So I'm now going to add 1 flower here, like so. And then I'm going to use a mask. So I've literally just added this flower to a piece of paper. Thank you, Gillian. And I'm going to add that over my first stamped image. So for beginners, this is how you mask, or you can use sticky notes. I love this poppy design as well, Olga, mainly because you can add things in the open areas. I love that you can add things in the open areas. So whether you like papers or whether you create your own backgrounds, it's perfect for that. So now I'm going to add the stamping side by side, like so. There we go. Just make sure I'm still in camera. Terrible habit of moving out of camera. So we now remove that, and you've got one behind the other. So I've now got a pen, and I love how this postal mark and this postal mark go over my flowers. Just extend your flowers. So doodle a bit more, and doodle those flowers here, just so that they're extended, like so. And then we're going to add our flowers. This won't take me long to cut out because they're nice, simple designs. I like the dimension. If you don't like dimension and you only like 1 layers, because I met a lady at Lee a week or so ago, and she liked all her designs to be flat, which was quite interesting to talk to her because it made me think about my demos and do a 1-dimensional design. So it's great. We all rub off each other, and that's what I like about being creative. So now I've got 1 flower, and then we've got our second. Do you like how I talk to myself as well? So now add that. I can never cut out without not talking to myself. First sign of madness. Thanks, David. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, David. So now move that out the way. We'll just cut these out. Nice and easy to cut out. There we go. And then we've got our 2 layers, but obviously we need something more. We need to bend that, and then we need to add some text to our flowers. So we bend our flowers. Come on, Tracy, glue. I always put my glue behind the camera, so then my hand goes in the way. That's not very well planned, is it? So now we adhere our flowers. And this glue doesn't want to work, so we'll get the second glue. I'm just going to stand up. Bear with me a second. Let's see how many glues we can grab that don't work. I love your definition of madness, Olga. I definitely think you're slightly mad, Olga. Just thought I'd say. Yes, and we've got a second glue. Let's try the third glue. How not to do a Facebook Live. Let's see if this one will come. Yay, third time lucky, third glue. So we're now going to adhere that to the layers. Lift that up and lift that up. Oh, thanks, Kate. I think you have to be slightly mad to craft, don't you? So if I speak to yourself, it means you need expert advice. I like that one. So now, let's just bend that a little so it doesn't move. I'm putting my head in camera because I'm concentrating. And now, we need to add a little detail to our flowers. So I've got my little book, my little gardening book. So let me see if I can get some words while you're on here. So you can see me tear them and what I look for. So the word stem is there. So we've got the word stem, if you can see that. These are the kind of little things that I do. We're all mad here, definitely. I think we're all mad here. So little things like that. I love little touches like that. So that's out of a gardening book. So we add that word stem. And it just adds a touch of interest to our flower. My hands are shaking trying to put it on the flower. There we go. And then we want a little word for this flower. These are just little touches for me. So stamen, that's a perfect word. So I've just add the word stamen to the next flower. And we'll add that there. These little book pages, these book pages, just lift the design a little. Does that make sense? They just make it pop a little bit more. Yeah, I have to be mad to work with abs. That's a definite. You're right there, Beverly. You're totally right. So we're going to add some more book pages. I can't believe that I've put up with him for nearly 3 years. I'm just flabbergasted. So we're now going to add some book pages there. And now I'm not reading these because I don't want you to wait too long. So I'm just reading, hoping that it doesn't say something. It's not going to say anything rude in a plant book, is it? So I think I'm safe. Oh, thank you very much, Maxine. Thanks for sharing. We'll draw the randomly drawn winner next week and you can win both stamp sets. So no choosing, you win both. So add that there. These book pages just make it pop a little bit. So if you can just bear with me while I add a few more. Because I'm determined to see that. Hi, Ida. Hope you're well. I'm determined to see this through till the end, till the actual journal's finished, so you can see it from start to finish. Because it's nice to see a project from start to finish. So I'll try and be as quick as I can, because I know you've all got teas to make. So one more little bit of text, and then we can't forget our back cover. That actually says lobes. They might think I'm talking about earlobes rather than plants, but never mind. So now, let's make sure that's stuck down. I want some text pages on the back cover. So just 3 touches of text pages. So thanks, Kate. Thank you very much. We're going to add one here. Let's do 3 at the same time. Then we can glue these quite nicely. So there, and then one more. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you very much. I love adding the printed text because sometimes if you're after a little touch but you don't want it to be too overpowering, it's quite nice, the book text is, and it doesn't detract from everything else. But when you're doing a design that's got a lot of one colour, it lifts the whole design when you're using a lot of one colour. So we're using a lot of the blushing, so it just breaks that up a little bit. So I'm just going to add that down here. Thanks everybody for joining me. So we're now going to add that here. And if you want any more inspiration, you can look at the AALL&Create Fanatics page. And I've also got another design on Facebook using stamp set 205. the rose, so that'll give you some more ideas, and I'll have lots more ideas coming. So that's the back cover. So what I need to do now is I need to add some white. We need to lift it even more. Let's move everything out of the way. So we'll add some touches of white, and we're going to add some nice markings with white. So I'm going to add, am I still in camera? Yes, I have to check every now and then that I'm still in camera. Yes, if you go to charity shops, you can get vintage books perfectly. So, and that's where I get a lot of my books from. And I use them a lot in my artwork. And they go wonderfully, even if I say so myself, with my flower stamps and my designs. The vintage books work really well. So we're just adding some markings. Just to that. And then I think we'll add some to the circle. I think I look like I was slightly drunk there. That's better. Just add a few little white dots. Let's add it this way. And these just lift your design and give you another layer of interest. And we can't forget that back cover. So we need to add some markings to that as well. Hope my hand isn't in the way. And don't forget, if you're joining along or you create one later, you will do exactly the same on your inside covers. Hope Carmen's managing okay. Oh, that's no problem, Leslie. You can easily catch it on catch up. Mind you, you've got to put up with me next week, Leslie, so it might be too much of a heavier dose of me. Twice in 1 week, and then a workshop. You poor thing. So that adds enough white for me. I will show you both the front and back cover before we do the next stage, and then you can see how it's coming along. So that's what we've got so far. And I'm quite liking that, but we've got a couple of little touches just to add to that. So what we need to do now is find the lid to your pen. I can't find the lid to my paint, forget that. So now we'll add some splatters. And just to keep Marianne happy, I'm using my scissors. And just... I also want some splatters like that. I will lift this up so you can see shortly. And this really lifts everything. That's why I love a Posca pen. If something looks a bit dull for you and you're not happy, use a Posca pen. Oh, thanks, Leslie. If everything is looking dull and it's not bright, even if you're using vintage colours, it can still look bright and fresh. It doesn't have to look dull. So that's what we've got so far. Those are our two covers, but we now need to, let's ground our flower with a little bit of interest. So what I've got now is, I've got some of this, which I tore out of my watercolour pad. So we've got some of that. I have to be careful because that paint layer is still wet. And I've got some cheesecloth. So we'll cut some cheesecloth. I've got some fabric scissors somewhere. Let's have a look. I'm just standing up because I need to find the other things. A white pen, yes, a Posca pen, Wendy. My desk is a hot mess again. Yes, Carmen, my desk is a dreadful mess. In fact, my stamp set is A5 and it takes me 10 minutes to find it. So, trust me, this is more than a hot mess. You have to share what you've made, Carmen. I can't wait to see. Makes me so happy that you've joined along. So we've now got some cheesecloth. Like so. We've got some torn elements from the edge of a book. So why not use everything we've got? So we've got that, like so. And I've got a little, oh, it'll keep moving, that will. And we've got a little bit of tape measure. So let's use a little bit of that as well. And we only want a touch. We don't need too much. Nearly cut my finger off then. I think I did nearly cut my finger. So we don't need to add too much. Just a little touch. So we're now going to staple them together. Like so. And then I'm going to use some ultra thick gel medium. Hi Marguerite, welcome, bonjour. Oh, my desk is terrible, Angie, absolutely terrible. So we're going to just add a touch of this. I love this heavy gel because it just sticks everything. And then I'm going to add a touch of that behind here. We only need to adhere it there. We don't need to add it anywhere else. Let's add them there, like so. And then I've got a little touch of this brick wall. I don't bin anything if I think it can be useful. I've got, it's actually, I think Olga gave me some of these pieces, and this is part of the brick wall that I've got left because I've used it so much. It's a snip art piece, I think. So we're going to add a touch of that brick wall. Let's colour that little touch of brick wall a little bit with a touch of the paint. Let's see if there's any paint on there. Yes, there is. There's still paint. That's what's good about cut and dry foam. It stays wet, and you don't, honestly, you use so little paint using cut and dry foam. And then we're going to adhere that nearly at the end now, not much longer. So we're going to adhere this, just a few drops. These are just little touches that add to your design. You know, you might have things on your desk, little bits. You can use them to ground your flowers. So we're going to add that here. I think I'm still in camera. So like I wander off camera, I sort of bring everything towards me and forget. And then we've got one sentiment to add. Let's add our sentiment. Not that I can see anything. I can't see any card. I can't see anything. It's just a mess everywhere. So if you see this in camera, it'll be a miracle. So now I want to use this little sentiment that's a favourite of mine that I mentioned before. Another year, 360 new opportunities. So we're going to stamp that. Hopefully I haven't taken it too far off camera and kept it to myself. Let's move that out the way. Just stamp, let me see if I can just do it with my hand. Another year. $365 more opportunities. Wonderful. So now we're going to cut that out. And just this is just our finishing touch, and then we'll adhere our journal together. Would you give a coat of varnish? You could give a coat of matte medium, Maxine, before you put the flowers on. Make sure your paints are dry, and then you could put matte medium over the top if you wanted a protective coat. I like to use matte medium because it's matte and I don't want to give it a glossy finish. So I could apply that over the top and then it would be protected. But to be honest, this paint is so good, you'd have to really give it a good battering before you damage it, to be honest. And you're using mount board. So if you're worried about giving it to the recipient, then yes, you could cover it in matte medium because you're using a pigment paint, and it's dry, it's permanent when dry, so you're fine. You could use the matte medium and that would protect it for you. So we're now going to, and again guys, we've got a few new people. Oh, brilliant. So yes, if you'd like to share, that'd be wonderful. If you weren't here at the beginning, we've got a lovely giveaway. Abs has kindly said that we can offer both stamp sets to a randomly drawn winner, stamp set 200 and 205. I'm now going to add a touch of paint to my sentiment, preferably using the right side that's got the paint edge on. Add that there. There we go. And then I'm going to add this to the top, but I might, no, this is when I talk to myself the whole time. No, it's going there. I move it around 100 times and then decide where it's going. Tracy, you rock Facebook Lives. Guess what, Sue? Absy wants me to do her chanda. Ask me if I'm nervous. I'm a nervous wreck. So, what we're going to do is we're going to add that there. So what we've got now is that lovely sentiment there. Another year equals 365 more opportunities. And isn't that just right? And what we're going to do now is we're going to adhere, because I told you we've got to finish this project, start to finish. So you could hand make a journal with covers, you could use ring binders, you could do an accordion. anything really. So what we're going to do is we're going to bind this. So I'm going to add my adhesive. When we're going to add my, this is when I talk to myself. Add my adhesive here. And then I'm going to add that, line my holes with the H, that is. Just let me make sure I've got the holes lined up. Bear with me a second because I have to hold it towards me. And then just hold that in place. Get rid of any excess glue. Hold that in place. And that gives you, just make sure you haven't touched, that's it. Whoops. And then just give it a good firm press, just so the glue makes a good adhesion. And if you look at your journal, that's your journal. That is your journal completely finished. Obviously you would decorate the inside. And this is our journal that we created. The exact copy that we did. That's the copy below. I'm hoping that it gives you a few snippets. Obviously, I haven't got new ideas all the time, but I'm hoping that the Facebook Lives offer you something, maybe offer you just a break from your creativity, or if there's something that you're not gaining from the Facebook Lives, just let me know. But that's our direct copy. I decorated the inside. A well done to Carmen and a big clap for joining me and actually playing along. Thanks, Carmen. So we decorated the inside. And what I was thinking was I could create a pocket on the inside and create some pages for the inside with coordinated layers for the inside, adding pages. So I will use some watercolour pages and add lots of pages to that, all in the same theme, using all my flowers and everything. So there we go. We've actually achieved a Facebook Live and we've actually finished the project start to finish. So if any of you'd like to share, that'd be wonderful. This is our giveaway from the lovely Abs and AALL&Create. You will get both stamp sets. If you've got any questions, please message me in the comments and I'll answer any questions that you might have, or if any problems that you're having. If I can help in any way, just give me a shout. And I will be back soon with another Facebook Live, hopefully. A big thank you to everybody for joining me, and I'll see you all soon. Bye, everybody. Bye.